Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Beards of War, Fat Bro Grandma coming at you live and in color. And I've got with me my main man, Scorched Earth, is back from his Odyssey, and he has survived. So he is returned a better man. Thick Nick couldn't be with us. He is in transit back to the great state of Maryland right now. And behind the scenes, as always, Captain Jack. So this week, man, we're talking Lanterns, HBO's new show, rated TVMA. I don't know how this fits into the greater DC universe that James Gunn's got going on, because tone is something that's being shot around here like buckshot, man. Lanterns kind of nails it for me. I think they took a relatively mature approach to it, but we're going to kick off talking about Hal Jordan, played by Kyle Chandler, and Jon Stewart, played by Aaron Pierre. Aaron Pierre is coming hot off that Netflix film he just did with Don Johnson. We reviewed it a couple years ago. Wasn't the biggest fan of the film, but his acting was pretty solid in that movie, in my opinion. The supporting cast is pretty solid too. Of note, Garrett Dillahunt as William McCone, the kind of mystery protector of Nebraska, and a personal favorite of mine, and it actually took me a second to figure out it was him, is Ulrich Thompson, who is Sinestro. And if you guys are a big Anthony Starr fan, then you might have seen when Cinemax was actually still alive. Cinemax had a show called Banshee, and he played a member of the Dutch Amish community, who is the overall villain gangster of the show. And he is fucking phenomenal, man. So once I actually realized it was him, because I thought it was another actor, I got stupid excited, man, because this dude's got depth for days. So we don't see him until season 2, but we're going to get there. So season 1 starts out with our main man, Jon Stewart, in like a flashback sequence. Dad looks like he's a senior NCO in the Marine Corps. He stayed up late. Timeline is 1996. He's watching like an interview with Hal Jordan when he's finally coming out and letting the world know that he's the Green Lantern. And obviously Jon Stewart's got an infatuation with him, a role model, hero kind of vibe. And then his dad comes in. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to ask you one question. Are you afraid?" Takes him outside for all I could describe as a modern version of William Tell meets parenting, because I had so many questions after that scene. Like, are your neighbors cool with this? Like, do you get to take home a Beretta from work every day? Because that's not how it works. It worked when I was in the Marine Corps, at least. But hey, man, that's a long time ago. So maybe shit changed. But then again, it's 96. So who fucking knows? But it shows that Jon basically has no fear, right? So his dad shoots the apple off. His dad celebrates him. He's proud of him. Obviously, the dad is pushing him and the other two boys in a direction, kind of like very stern. And then we kind of fast forward to Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan basically having this interaction where Hal is, the mentor. He's the aging Green Lantern. Every planet only has one. And so Hal has identified Jon to be his replacement, right? He's doing a whole Riptoa thing. The dynamics between the two, I think, are really good. Like, I love the fact that Hal continuously calls him like junior or sport or some derogatory term like that, just to kind of, I think he's reaffirming dominance in the relationship. And he's also probably a little nervous because he's obviously showing his age. There's an interesting scene where Hal just takes off, and when he does it, he puts the Green Lantern ring on the dashboard of the car, and they're in like this 88 Caprice. And he's like, "There's a taco shop 3 miles up the road. I'll see you there." And he just, peel us out of the fucking sedan, and Jon goes right over the cliff and survives, right? As Jon is coming up and he's making the walk, talks to his dad. Dad tries to like lift him up because the guy just tried to kill him. So like he's feeling a little raw with emotion at the time, rightfully so. And and then we get this weird sequence where a younger version of Hal Jordan kind of comes to him and glitches into like the Matrix, so to speak. And it's an older version, or it's a younger version of Hal that says that his consciousness was updated into like the Green Lantern's, like, I don't know, cloud. And so they have a fallback position of last known information from that Green Lantern if they pass, is how I kind of took it. And he warns him that they've got to go to this town in Nebraska. And then finally, Hal and Jon reconvene at the taco shop, and Jon tells him what he saw. And he's like, "Man, my consciousness hasn't been backdated or uploaded into the cloud for like 10 years, I believe." So now we're still operating on two different timelines. So the main timeline that we're seeing with Hal and Jon like partnered up investigating this whole murder in Nebraska thing is 2016. Later in episode 1, you're going to see it jump another 10 years to 2026. Well, we're going to get there. So right off the bat, Scorch, what do you think, man? Did it get you on the first couple scenes, or?
So my honest opinion on this show, well, first let's start off. I'm a Marvel fan, right? I'm a Marvel guy, regardless of how they do in the theaters and movies and shows or whatever. Never been a big DC guy. I liked a couple characters growing up, collect the comics. So that being said, not a big DC fan, but I want to say, and I like Green Lantern to a degree way back in the day when I was a kid. I want to say I think they did an outstanding job on selecting the actors for this. The show is flowing good for me. It has actually drawn me closer to the DC world than I would say. I mean, the closest thing would be some of the Batman
Sure.
characters over the years. But I'm digging this, man. I think they've done an outstanding job again with the actor selection. These guys got great chemistry, like you said. You kind of hit all like not all, but a lot of the big keynotes for me. I think these guys do it well. I like the way they kind of go back and forth. Like you mentioned, he's always calling him Junior or Rip or whatever it is,
Right.
and conversely, he's always throwing out the sir, and we already know what he thinks about him calling him
Right.
sir. He's like,
Absolutely.
you really mean this, but so
That's
I
great.
think there's like good comedy there, some good seriousness, and hey, these two guys bring Green Lantern to life for me. I'm digging this, man. I like the aesthetics of the costumes. You get this, a glimpse at those, the lantern, the villains, and everything is flowing really good, at least so far. I mean, we're 2 episodes in, right?
Sure.
It just kind of started, but hey, kudos to DC on this so far, man. This is good. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would.
I was really surprised, man. When I saw, I think it's David Lindoff or Damon Lindoff. He was the guy that helped write Game of Thrones. And I know he bowed out on the final season pretty early because him and his writing partner were going to go off and do a Star Wars trilogy that got pulled out from underneath him. So I was a little nervous, man. The guy's got some street cred as far as writing is concerned. He did like the show Lost and, Game of Thrones and a couple other things, but the guy's never really like nailed the ending. So I am a little apprehensive. It seems like they're on a glide path. They know what they're doing, at least in the first 2 episodes. I love the fact that they bounce around the timelines. They use that to their advantage really, really well.
Yeah,
and when they have to split John and Hal up for legitimate reasons, right? There's only one ring, and Hal flies off and does his thing, and then we're kind of left with John. He's got to get like a fucking flight to Nebraska and then get a rental car and shit like that. Like true FNG level dynamics right there. It's just hilarious. But yeah, then they show up to I forget the town's name, but it's a very small town in Nebraska, and we get to see the scene where Hal is sitting in the stadium and he's kind of assessing the crime scene. Yeah, I can't remember. I thought it started with an R. Sorry, TBIs, guys. What are you gonna do? And so they get there, and there's 4 bodies are on the football field. It was a football high school football team rivalry game, so a lot of people in the crowd. And Hal immediately jumps to the conclusion that we're not dealing with 4 like human beings. We're dealing with 4 aliens that are in disguise. And that's the root of the mystery of Nebraska, right? And obviously there's more information that's in there. We get to meet the sheriff, who is married to the lawyer, who is the son of the land baron who is working for an unknown entity who has had him sign an NDA. Right. So we're meeting all the players in episode 1. They do a really good job. Like I said, man, they're quick and fast and efficient in how they cut the episode up. There's never really a moment where you feel like bored with the dialogue. I felt like everything was earned. Every dialogue or every set of slow paced dialogue moved the story along. Like, oh, that's interesting. I can't wait to see this goes. I don't know shit about Green Lantern. All I remember is the Ryan Reynolds movie. And I'm sure every one of us, to include Ryan Reynolds, wants to forget that film exists.
Even he clowns it, right?
Right. And rightfully so, man. I need to know about Hal Jordan. I know about Sinestro. I know about John Stewart. And that's pretty much where I'm at, right? He's got the ring. He's got to recharge it. And they have a saying that they use. And we finally get to hear it in episode 2. You've seen Ryan Reynolds' movie. You've already heard it. It was said to death. No green screen, no CGI suit in this, which is phenomenal. And I like the fact that they tiptoed around the suit without overutilizing it. Because honestly, like Hal and John are just in plain civilian clothes. They look like your average civilian that's just walking around. And there's a history between the sheriff and Hal that we haven't fully explored yet. Possibly like a little romance there. I don't know. Episode 2 kind of like played that hand a little bit more. Like he's like, oh, are you having marriage troubles?
Yeah.
Like Hal's interested, right? So then we get to the point where Hal throws down with a group of dudes in a bar so that way he can get close to the living witness, the guy that they tackled and they identified in the crowd as a potential a bolo kind of thing to look out for. So Hal starts a brawl in the bar, gets thrown in the tank, and he's hoping to have a chance to interrogate the suspect with, because the sheriff's basically blocking him off. That doesn't go very well because, Garrett Dillahunt, his character, Will McCone, is absolutely is aware that Hal is present. He's got I wouldn't say an affection, but he looks up to him. He's
a little bit of an affinity.
Affinity. Thank you. That's a great term. Invites him over for food, cooks up steak. John gets his vegan burger or vegan steak, I think it was.
It was not tofu, right?
Tofu. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
But before that, John has a rendezvous with destiny for all you 101st guys out there with a stranger in the cab of a truck at the bar following Hal's going to jail escapades. And then we get to the barbecue and come to find out that's William McCone's wife. That shit's going to get awkward real fast. But his crew is all decked out to the nines, man. They're all strapped with AR-15s. He's got sniper perches. Like he's got a training complex is what he's got. It looks like a Blackwater training complex, in my opinion, set in like Nebraska. And he is preparing for something else. And like his analogy that he uses, like, hey, like before me, it was the Kiowa, and before them, it was the Sioux or the Navajo. He names 2 Native American tribes, and I apologize for mixing those up. He's like, the people that had the land before me did not see the threat of colonization. And he's like, I see the threat of alien colonization, and it's not going to happen on this land ever again, which, kettle what is it? Black kind of thing, right? Like we obviously colonized from the Native Americans, and now this guy's going to like stand on his own 2 feet and be like, no, we're going to defend our land, and be like, all right. So we get through that scene, and then so John is basically not John. Sorry, Hal is stuck with representation of William's son-in-law, played by Jason Ritter, who's representing him in court. And then we get to the big finale, right? So the finale of the episode is very interesting because it jumps another 10 years forward. Hal and John are not together, but John gets a call to return to Nebraska from the sheriff. And when he comes into the stadium, seated in the exact same position that Hal was in, back in 2016 when John first saw him, is Hal in his body. And he's got a gunshot wound to the nugget. And Hal knocks the snow off his hand, and he doesn't have the ring. So I personally don't think Hal Jordan is dead. I don't think you tell this story with him being dead. I just don't think that. I think it's a shock and awe kind of moment. And I suspect as we go forward, we're going to find out that that's not Hal. It's probably somebody else. It's a red herring. Of note, some of the theories I saw was one person on, I think it was X, said that his when he pushed the snow off the side, there's like a black mark that goes around because he wears on his middle finger a black mark on Hal Jordan's finger from constant wear and tear. And when he knocks the snow off, we don't see it. So I'd have to go back and watch the episode again to confirm that. So I can't say that with 100% accuracy, but it's interesting that people are already dissecting the shit out of this show. It just shows you that if you write something good and you perform it well, people will show up in droves, man. This is TVMA. Yeah. See a lot of language, not so much nudity. Pretty fucking solid, even though we haven't seen a whole lot. I like the flight dynamics. I think they look really good when they fly off. Well, we haven't seen John fly yet, but Hal's flown off a couple times, and it looks pretty solid. And then we jump to episode 2. You got anything for episode 1? Or
yeah, I mean, I think you hit, pretty much everything, man. I mean, there's all kinds of nuance throughout it, but yeah, that was pretty rock solid. Yeah, I think they did a good job rolling the end of episode 1 right into the beginning of episode 2, which we'll get into. And for me, like you said, it wasn't a whole lot of nonstop just action, but the action set pieces, the storyline, the character building, like all of it is like working together really, really well.
Yeah.
So that flow from one episode into the next was super easy for me. It was almost like it was a movie as opposed to 2 different episodes. I'm just continuing to watch the movie. So they're doing good. And episode 2, like I said, you're going to get into it, but didn't fail to impress for me. I will add one thing. There's one piece, and it's not episode 1. I'm not giving away really anything in episode 2. Again, we're going to get into it, but there's a point where Hal, there's a recharge issue thing, and he kind of, and this is a small ding, but it's not really a ding, kind of hits his ring down on the trunk of a car, and you get a brief glimpse before they pan away of what remained and some small pieces. And it probably is just because it's costume stuff. Small piece broke off and was still on the trunk of the car. I noticed that. I'm like, and like you said, it's going to bring out people who want to see the show. Once you write something really good, it also brings out people who are really paying attention, like you really, and not to nitpick at it, but you're watching every bit of the episode, just kind of on pins and needles, like, all right, what's coming up next, because it's so good, but not super action packed. So that's the only reason why I think I even caught that for that brief moment, but I quickly moved on because I was infatuated with the bird as well because I
Right.
remember some of the lore associated with the lanterns. But yeah, this is good, man. I had nothing else on one.
The one glaring thing I actually forgot about episode 1 is the interrogation scene. So eventually,
Yeah,
Hal gets permission to engage and interrogate the fifth guy, right? The suspected alien. What I really like about it is Hal is trying to interrogate him by using different approaches. And when he's like, "Hey, so how did Nebraska do in this football game? Like, you're from Nebraska," like, and breaks them all down. He's like, "By the way, what was the name of the school the kids went to in Harry Potter?" And he's like, "Just like a fucking alien, man. Like, you could talk to very specifics, but you can't talk broader nature of cultural things that people would be aware of at your age." And
who's the president?
And then he like slams him against the wall. He's like, "Hogwarts, motherfucker!" And and then the dude drops his fucking angle, man. And he's like, "It will be a shame that if I had, say, a bomb device that is, surgically implanted in his body,
into my
right, into his DNA." And then he goes to activate, and Hal uses the ring to basically encapsulate the guy inside of a blast sphere. He still takes the hit, man, and like the police department takes a hit and everything else like that. And that's kind of where the big pieces of episode 1 kind of fall into place. Sorry about that jump, guys. Episode 2, like you said, man, kicks right off, and Hal approaches John, and they come out of the motel together, and he's like, "Hey, training," gives him the ring, and like you said, he taxed the car with it, and he's like 5% left. And he's like, "Oh shit! If I'm a superhero, man, and I know that my superhero ring's got to recharge, that would probably be in a go bag." Just saying. I know you can fly and shit, but at 5%, who's gonna fly, right? Yeah. So once again, there's a reason for us to split apart, and so John goes out to. I don't think he actually tells him exactly where it's at. Like, we get the address of his home and where he's going, and he already bought. Is it California?
So he gave him a ticket.
Yeah.
And so I didn't tell the state, but they didn't say it out, but he gave him a ticket, and it had, where he needed to go. And he's like, on the back is the address. And when you get there, it's in the rock outside the door. And there's like all kinds of, he's like, what rock?
Frowning potato.
Yeah, it was like a frowning potato, but I guess if you smile and like, depending on which way I put it, I put it upside down or whatever. Don't forget to feed Earl.
Feed Earl. That's right. And I was wondering what the hell that was going to be. For a show, it's all about space cops and outer dimension beings and all kinds of crazy shit. You don't see a whole lot of the build up to Earl. I thought was really well done. Like he's got the catchphrase like Mago is unsocial or something like that. And I know Mago, I think, is like some big hulking Green Lantern from another planet. But then, so then he goes out with burgers and bison and tries to feed Earl, thinking it's a dog, and turns out it's like this Venus flytrap like plant. And he still has the little green bird that he formed, right? So when he took the ring off and gave it back to Hal, the bird remained, and that impressed Hal. And I'm curious to see what that looks like, because I don't know Green Lantern lore, like I said.
So just a piece of the lore, right? Because like typically, right, the ring it's got to be in close proximity of whatever the lantern is projecting. Like, so he can't be on the other side of the universe and been projecting a bird, say, on Earth, right?
Yeah.
You're in close proximity. And he's seeing that, okay, he projected this bird when he's trying to learn how to fly. He's doing these weird movements like, oh, he get off the ground, and he materializes this bird. But then when he took the ring back, and especially when it's low, it usually doesn't hold. Like, those things start to dissipate, whatever you projected, whether it's, dollar bills with a jukebox or, it's little green.
Opener.
But yeah, exactly. It goes away, and he took the ring back, and he saw that the bird was still on his shoulder. So he was, because that's not just any kind of a average new lantern thing. It's way more advanced to be able to do stuff like that without having the ring on. And then even beyond that, to a degree, it's kind of almost unheard of to not have the ring. Somebody else has got the ring. The charge is down on it, and you keep that. So what he told him was, it's a test, and you could tell it was a little off, but he was like, all right, and so go to the house, feed the thing, get the lantern back here so I can charge, and you make sure that you take that bird with you and bring it back, because if you lose patience or you're not paying attention to it, it'll disappear, and you fail if you don't bring it back with you. And meanwhile, the bird's flying around. He goes, with the bird. The bird's still with him. The bird helps him. So he's already doing things that was unexpected from Hal, and he's starting to see that there's a lot more to this kid, right? This little whippersnapper than he expected.
Also a point of maybe a little bit of intimidation on his skills, maybe from Hal's perspective. Like, he's like, fuck, man, I'm over the hill kind of thing. Hey, man, that's what happens when you're a crusty old E8.
Yeah, exactly right.
But yeah, I also wonder how he got that thing through TSA. Be like, hey man, it's like a little glowing alien fucking bird I just created out of nothing. So don't mind him. He's with me. He's my carry
Well,
on.
and so to a degree, some of the public knows that, all right, he's with him. So it might be,
Great point.
just reaching out, reaching a little bit, but they might be like, oh yeah, that's the guy that he's his, sidekick, as he was called by one of the cops of Hal. So he's known to either be a Lantern or some kind of a hero to a degree. So they probably just like, oh yeah, he's a Green Lantern dude.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, and then we go from pretty much the end of Feeding Earl to our boy John Stewart gets got, and he's got about 5 dudes that hook his ass up to a taser and a black bag special, throw him in a van, and he is off to the races, man. He wakes up, and there is an actor, like you guys have seen him in probably fucking everything. Let me see if I can find his name for you. It's Paul Ben Victor. His character's name is Anton, and he basically gives a complete downbrief to Jon Stewart about manhunters after he tries to interrogate him. He's like, dude, I don't know shit about shit, man. So he talks about how manhunters are like this kind of like an Ultron kind of like character where they are sentient beings / AI. I don't know, man. That can basically take on any form of any alien that they've colonized, kind of thing, and they're just destroyers of the worlds in the galaxy in vain of peace. That's their effort. And so these guys are kind of trying to stop them. So to motivate John, they basically like jam all their memories with this weird like cordless drill into his skull. And now he's going to have to live with all the trauma that the manhunters have supposedly bestowed upon Anton and his people. And they give him a 40-hour clock to find out, who's behind everything. So at that point, Hal gets freed John gets freed and he goes to link back up with Hal. In the meantime, Hal makes an ass of himself in front of the entire city at a town hall. And because the sheriff's not moving fast enough for him, he said, fuck it. And he breaks into the morgue, steals all the alien bodies, which is absolutely hilarious because he finds out that the metal detectors at the stadium weren't detecting metal. It wasn't bad enough he had his belt buckle and shit. Like the man takes out a crowbar and rips the front end grill off with John's rental car, which is kind of shitty. Realizes it doesn't go off, so then he takes the bodies through the scanner and they alert to an alien presence. So our main man, William McCone, has got some alien detecting tech that we don't know about. So then Hal goes to his ranch, and the welcoming committee is no longer there. You got, the modern version of Tombstone with Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp showing up at the front gate, horsebacks, ARs, even have the sniper perch positions. Like, you take one more step further, we're going to just go ahead and kill you, blah, blah, blah. And the sheriff tries to defuse the situation. Hal being Hal takes one step, and I don't know what he got shot with, man. I wasn't sure if it was like a non-lethal because he wakes up in the hospital. He's got his chicken wing in a sling, and that's pretty much it. But then we get an interesting tidbit from the sheriff as they're discharging Hal, and he's like, so you're not from here. And she's like, I come from Gotham. So, which is kind of cool because that was a drop, obviously, towards Batman. And we're seeing that maybe we're going to try to like put pieces together for the bigger DC universe. And man, I hope they do it well because I'm going to talk about tone for a second. I don't see how this fits into the universe of Superman. Superman was a bright, energetic Marvel film, for lack of a better term, not necessarily in quality, but saying like it's a warm, fuzzy superhero film like Spider-Man or anything else. Like you go there, you'd be entertained, you walk out the door, you're done. This has got teeth, and I don't see how you connect this. Like this would fit closer to like Pattinson's Batman than it would anything that James Gunn is working on for movie releases, in my opinion. And if you watch the Clayface trailer that's coming out, or the Clayface trailer for the movie that's coming out in October, that's going to be rated R, and that movie looks like body horror to me. And I'm excited to see that because I think Clayface is completely underutilized in the Batman universe. I'm a big fan of the 92 animated series. Tone-wise, I just don't see how these all fit together. Like, Spider-Man did it with Punisher, and I just don't think those worlds connect well, in my opinion, man. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, this second episode is... like I said, it's great, man. I'm enjoying the show.
It is, man.
I will say I love the humor. I brought it up once before, but when he stills the bodies and he's dragging them back to take them through the metal detector, and they're falling on him or whatever, and then he's got him buckled into the car in the seatbelt, and then he gets pulled by the sheriff, and she's like, "You're killing me, John." He's like, "What? Is it because I'm not on the insurance?" Like I've been meaning to talk about it.
So it looks exactly what it is. He says that line. It's like, Like, what do you say to that, man?
Exactly.
I got 5 dead aliens or 4 dead aliens, 5 dead aliens in this car. Like, it's
And
great,
she's
man.
like,
Like,
yeah, she's like, you can't go showing up to the ranch because the greeting you got before was because he needed you. And this is prior to him get shot. But
yeah.
you go out there now with questions and accusations or whatever, it's going to be a different story. It's going to be bad. And he's like, I don't care. And then she escorts him out there. And of course, he's egging it on kind of the whole time. But he was like, yeah, I don't care about the India. I want to know about the benefactor. And I'm going to be back out here. I'm going to get on this ranch because I think you have more, whether it's tech or whatever, on this ranch.
And he does.
That
Of
you don't
course he
want
does.
me to know about. Yeah.
It's gonna be curious to see who it is, though. Yeah, and I still have no idea. But like I think the coolest thing about the end of the episode, man, is we get to see him in all his glory. We get to see Sinestro. Hal flies off. Like once, I think it's the sheriff that brings up like his Wikipedia page. He's like, yeah, you know, Sinestro was your mentor, blah blah blah. And I was like, man, damn it, Wikipedia again. And then, man, so when John and him reconnect, he charges his ring. And then Hal takes the bags into the hotel or the motel and sees the uniform. He's like, just in case you needed it. He's like, I thought I'd bring it for you. You tell John is all about that life though, man. He wants to be the Green Lantern. And I think probably for the best reason. Like it is his end all dream as being a kid moving forward. And he's tasked his entire life focused towards it. But yeah, man, Hal suits up and flies the fuck off into space and lands on their prison planet. And yeah, we get to see him kind of engage with Sinestro for a very split second, man. And he's like, tell me about John. Sinestro tells him, he's like, tell me about John Stewart. And I was like, damn, this is getting good, man. Then I watched the trailer for episode 3 at the very end of it. And I was like, I'm really kind of curious though, because did you watch the trailer for episode 3?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
So in the trailer, we see John talks to his dad again. I think we're gonna have some additional flashbacks. We might see John's mom, but then we see some like fucking kind of like combat split stuff. Like we see him scuba dive real quick, then we see him do a free fall out of the back of a C-130 like aircraft that's got the ramp. I don't know that John Stewart is in the military, but it definitely looks like they're painting that picture that he was like, you know, a former Marine Corps Raider or like an SF dude or a SEAL or something specialized where he got some of that elite training. I'm just kind of curious to see how it all mixes in. The mom angle is interesting because we didn't see her at all in the flashback 96 initially. So maybe there's something there that motivated John even further to go down this route. I don't know, man. But the great thing is I have more questions and I can't wait to see what the answers are.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a show that you give a shit about again. And Lanterns for me is it, because like I'm still on Reacher season 3 and I'm just kind of lost hope on that show. It's just not.
Reacher sucks.
It's just
that's my opinion.
It doesn't land like I like the first season, man. I'm
in season 1. I think they do. For me, like I like the actor, but I think they do a piss poor job at making him kind of monotone and goofy the way that he acts and walks. And I'm like, come on, guys, I'm not saying he's got to act like the Tom Cruise Reacher, but it's just not that guy's character from what I've seen in other stuff. And I know that was earlier on in his career, but I just don't like the way the character is.
I think it's just some of the over the top stuff, man. Like season 2 ends with him holding on to a colleague, that's strapped onto a gurney while holding on to like a support beam and a Chinook, and he's like holding on with one arm. I'm just like, dude, like you set the rules of your universe. Please try to abide by them, because that makes writing super fucking painful to watch an execution. And that's why I go back to this, man. Like these aren't action packed episodes, but the characters and the acting and the writing carries it forward. And you're just like, damn, man, I can't wait till next week's episode to see what comes next. And that is a strong storytelling capability. And so many shows right now just don't have that. So Lanterns, in my opinion, so far, rock solid. Keep going, man. You guys are doing great.
Yeah, I got one quick alibi, and it's a tie-in between episode 1 and episode 2. This is just my running theory, small theory. But you know how you were talking about the theory with the ring and the mark and, you know, the round to the head. So in episode 2, when old boy's talking about, hey, you know, years ago they came here and they can make these synthetic bodies and they can. I'm thinking that body was a synth setup that they created, you know, to for whatever purpose, right? Maybe it was to dissuade him from going down the lantern route, like, hey, you guys aren't invincible, or to throw people off the path that they had something else going on with Hal.
Yes.
But I think that was a synth body fight. And that, to me, that would jibe with, if it truly is, hey, there's no mark, there should have been a mark. You know, you can't, do you really kill this guy off that early in the sequence? And, you know, it's jumping back and forth. So they could, in theory, do that, but I don't think it plays well or bodes well for the series at large. And not to mention that they're both great actors and they got great chemistry. So why so early if you do like a time jump thing?
Yeah.
But I think it's a synth. But that's just my thought on that.
I couldn't tell you who I suspect the villain to be. Obviously, the ranch guy under the NDA, he is obviously a bad guy, but like I don't know in the greater scheme of the story they're trying to tell what it is. I suspect it's going to be something that's connected to Sinestro, which would probably be the smart play. I'm with you on the red herring for Hal. I also suspect it's part of his greater plan. I think he's in on this plan. And I think the ring being missing and John being out of the mix for as long as he was, because like obviously like he's not the Green Lantern because Hal still has the ring. I think that's to put like all the bad guys to bed, kind of put them to sleep. And then I think the massive plan will come in the finale, and you're going to see John and Hal kind of duke it out with whoever the big bad is. But I'm all ears, man. I'm all here for it. Like even if come the end of the season, Hal is absolutely definitely fucking dead, I won't be mad about it, man, because that is a hell of a swing to take. And if you can land it well, kudos to you, man.
Yeah. So all in all, man.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Great show so far. You guys keep up the good work on this. DC, man, hats off to you.
Yeah.
Good work.
I'm more excited about this than I was fucking Spider-Man 4. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Avengers Doomsday sounds like it's going to come along nicely. I hope some of the things I'm hearing are good. So, are real.
I like the trailer. I was like,
the new trailer did a lot of heavy lifting, man, because those first few trailers, I was like, damn, this does not look like it's going to be good. And that last one, people are dissecting the shit out of that. I saw one guy is like, hey, the eyes are green in this Doom and they're different in this Doom. And I'm like, oh shit, multiple Dooms. Like that could just be like the filming and the lighting on reflecting off the eye color, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, and Doom has made multiples of him in the comics before. So like, who knows what it is?
I think it would be cool if it was a Tony Stark variant, and then at the end of which one we go into Doomsday, they reveal that he's not the real Doom, and then the real Doom comes in and basically sweeps up everybody and builds Battle World for Secret Wars. I think that'd be fucking awesome. It'd be an Empire Strikes Back moment, man, where you really pull the wool over the audience's eyes and be like, "Surprise, motherfucker, gotcha." I would welcome that. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I got this week.
Yep, same here. Hey guys, it's great to be back.
It's good to have you, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I had to go work on my tan. A little warm, but it turned out well. See, look, check that out, man. Nice farmer tan.
Nice.
But yeah, it's good to be back, guys, and hope you guys stay entertained. Hope you guys still enjoy the channel, enjoy what we do. We enjoy doing it, and look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Back next week with episode 3, man.
Yeah. Scourge Earth out.
Fat Bro Rambo out here. Be good to each other, guys.